All right. Welcome back to the Crazy Crafter, everyone. My name is Colin Bressie, and I am joined, as always, by Michael Patterson, and with our special guest this week, Daniel West, longtime listener, first guest to join us again on the stream. So, welcome back, Daniel. It's great to have you.
It's great to be here. I'm excited to build some stuff.
Yeah, this is going to be quite amazing. Uh, I have to confess. So the reason we're starting a little bit late today is gathering all the materials. I'm trying to up the stream right now, and we're gonna have the ability to switch back and forth and share some really cool builds from the week with you. But the crafting challenge this week kind of fell by the wayside. So I literally, gents, when I stepped away for that 5 minutes, was trying to grab everything that I could possibly try to do for our new bin build this week. So I can guarantee you I've missed something, and that's going to prove very interesting to see how I deal with that challenge when the time comes. so so it'll be amazing. But how the heck are you guys? How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good, good.
Busy couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's that time. It's that time. Michael, how's life across the pond?
It's good, man. I've had a few disasters with my crafting this week. But
Oh
other than
no.
that,
Oh no.
yep. But other than that, I'm pretty good. Learning experiences. I think I'm learning more from mistakes at the minute than I am from actually being good at anything, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, uh that's part of the process. Yeah. Figuring it out as we go along. Um it's definitely part of the process. I think I don't know. We'll talk about it a little bit later on the show here when we get to it. But you had a build this week that you shared right before that did I don't think it's a flop because that thing still, you put it on the tabletop, it's gonna look great. You know what I mean? Like, it still looks really cool.
Yeah. I sent you a few photographs. Well, it is going to look great because I've basically not given up on it and just gone back and fixed the problems. But
Right.
if I left it as it was, it would have been a flop.
Yeah.
I don't-
Well, we had some fun. I know Daniel and I this week. We kind of we're building off a little bit of a challenge that we had thrown down last week, and Daniel got to the build a little bit quicker than I did in the week, and we made some. We had some fun building some Halloween decorations for around the house. Um, we had a gravestone challenge, and we threw down some. Could we make our own little scatter train for literally our house? And we took some XPS foam and went to town. And you built it with your family, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. I was cutting foam in the backyard with my son, and he was I was trying to teach him how to do some stuff. So he took the lead on a lot of it using the
Nice.
jigsaw and doing some of the painting and stuff. So yeah.
Well, let's do this. Instead of looking at my crazy messy mat over here, let's pull up the slides, and I'm going to pull them up. It's going to scroll. I think these were ready to go with. We'll look at our builds here in a little bit. I'm scrolling through the weekly builds, guys. Bear with me. We'll come back to these and talk about all these really cool builds from these crafters this week. But here we go. So I pulled it up there, Daniel. We're checking out your gravestones here. They're up for everyone on the channel to check out. I'll send this to you right now. I'm gonna send it right now, Michael. If you don't have it and you haven't seen it yet, it's the ones I sent you earlier in the week. You should have it in your Facebook. So tell us a little bit. So he took the jigsaw to these and he cut out the XPS foam here, Daniel. What did you guys measure it
Yeah.
out, or did you just go to town? Tell us a little bit
We were
about the
just
process.
everything is just eyeballed pretty obviously, right? So like these are some loose lines on this thing, but just having my I drew out sort of like the Celtic cross one, and then my
Yeah,
son
that looks
did
cool.
my son did the other three, And we actually we didn't use the XPS, we used EPS, right?
What's the EPS one?
So
Extrusion.
so yeah, XPS is what everybody. It's the closed cell version. It's like the pink stuff. It's extruded foam. We used expanded polystyrene, which is actually just like sort of run of the mill styrofoam, because the white beady stuff. So they're both polystyrene foams, but one is made through extrusion and one is sort of putting it in a vacuum and expanding it, and that's how you get all those bubbles. So we just used normal run-of-the-mill styrofoam, because I happen to have half of a 4x8 sheet of like 2-inch thick stuff in the backyard left over from another weird project that we had worked on. So they've got some chonk to them. So they're like 2 inches thick.
They look great.
Thank you.
How tall are they?
They're 20 inches to 2 feet. So
proper gravestones.
So they're pretty good size.
Yeah.
What's that?
Proper gravestones.
Yeah, because we wanted to decorate the yard with them, and so now we've got them sort of in the front yard, along with some other silly decorations that we've thrown up there. Yeah. And then we just they're all flat. They're all 2-dimensional. Just cut out shapes, and then we played with adding highlights and shadows using Trompe l'oeil, which is actually I don't know how to pronounce the last part. It's a French word with a whole bunch of L's. Trompe l'oeil, I don't know. But yeah, and just adding highlights and shadows to sort of create faux depth.
That depth looks real. I actually thought that you'd carved in the middle part. It does look real.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, that was what I was tripping out on this week. Because I said the same thing, Michael. I was zooming in on the photo, and I was just like, he painted that texture and that depth in there. I was like, looked really great. Good. It looks great.
Oh, thank you. It's classic. Like, I know it's been around for all sort of like fine art throughout the whatever, but it's really classic theater scenic painting stuff, right? Just establishing highlights and shadows.
Light direction. So basically, you've chosen your light direction, and you've painted the shadow on one side and then the highlight on the other.
Correct. Yeah. So across the board, for all of these, the light is coming in from sort of that upper left. And then you just sort of make a choice whether or not the thing is sticking out or receding into it, and then you sort of have to imagine which face of that would be catching the light if the light is coming in from that direction. So and that changes depending on whether or not it's sticking out or receding in. Excellent, good work. Yeah, and this is my daughter.
Hello, daughter. This reminds me of that. Have you ever seen that news interview of the guy? He's
100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I just got a handoff. There's the first thing that I forgot, gents. Don't drink the water, but I forgot to get water from my paint jar. And I just like quickly texted my wife. I was like, please come here and grab water for me. So she went and grabbed water for me. Well, these are great, Daniel. I really like the Celtic cross. I just like all the different shapes, and the base that you have there for the cross and the one just to the right of it look really cool. And I thought this was a really fun build to share with everyone this week because, it was done, like, both Danny and I did it with our families. And it's a great, it's a great holiday activity. Everyone carves pumpkins, but, you don't have to just, decorate with the pumpkin carving. You can get some foam out there and build yourself some more Halloween scatter terrain for your own house. Well, inspired by your build, I continued on. I was like, if we're going to do this challenge, we have to make sure that this challenge, I have to compete in the challenge with you this week.
Sure. Sure.
So I went ahead and I used some as well, and I did use XPS foam for these builds. They came out pretty cool. So I took basically just the XPS foam. I made mine pretty big because I wanted them at the base of our little stairway up to the house. And in soon there will be. Can you see them, Daniel, at all up there? Do you have them up there, or I want to make sure you can see them too.
Oh yeah.
But we'll put like we'll carve some pumpkins and we'll put them in front. And I'm gonna try to figure out some lighting. But I basically just took the foam and the Olfa knife and measured out. I think I made them about 11 inches wide, and then I went pretty tall with mine, probably pretty close to like 18 or 20 inches. And then from there, just kind of carved it out. My mom got in on the decorating. She's a really good artist, and she's always got this awesome handwriting. So I was like, I gave her a Sharpie, and she went to town with the lettering. So she was the one that went into there, and with the Sharpie on the XPS, it like ate away a little bit at the foam, so it created some nice texture to pick up some paint. And then both my son grabbed the giant ball of aluminum foil and went to town on that and helped texture it. And then we just like threw the Mod Podge down, like you do, right? And then we threw our stone colors. Now, I did something different with this one. I wanted to try something that I hadn't done for a larger piece of foam before, which is instead of just using a small, like acrylic pewter for the entire time, I wanted to... It's going to take me forever to paint it. I had some steel, like hammered steel look spray paint. So I spray painted the foam. It's the first time I spray painted with foam. And everyone's like, you got to be careful. As long as you seal it, should be fine. And it turned out really well. Like the Mod Podge held up well. There's a couple of spots on the backside of the gravestone on the right that I didn't get as thick of a coat of Mod Podge on it, and it ate away a little bit at the foam. It actually turned out pretty cool. It looks like a deteriorated, decaying stone. But I thought that was I was excited to try something I'd never done before, which was spray painting. So you can do it. Everyone out there on all the large content creators have said it too. You just gotta be mindful of the distance and play around, not getting too close so it doesn't dissolve and eat away. But it worked great for us, and threw a bunch of washes on it too. Made some homemade washes. We did like a dirt one with like brown and green in there, and it's harder to tell in this picture, but it really got kind of that like oozing like rain water, and all the moisture is like kind of seeping in and like soaking down. I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, you definitely see that sort of linear sort of streakiness. It looks weathered and aged that way. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
So the only criticism that I have, it's not even a criticism. It's instead of the word piece, it could be maybe pieces.
Rest in pieces. Rest in pieces. Yeah, we could have the rest in pieces. We thought about like, what do we do for those decorations. I'd thought of a couple different ideas, and then I was just like, let's go classic. And I definitely had a blast with painting that stuff. And so my son painted he went back and helped. I helped him a little bit, but I let him go to town on highlighting the words and the letters back on the gravestone. So he took the black acrylic paint and all that time. I guess Zoom school is paying off a little bit, because he was able to follow the letters, and he was like calling them out as he was writing them. He had questions about the handwriting or the cursive, because he's like, what is this? I haven't quite seen it like this before. So he he did a good job on the project. And then we got through it. And as soon as we finished it, he's like, "It's hot, and we've been crafting for quite some time. Can we take a break?" And I was like, "We can take a break." So back inside we went. It was like, "You got it, kiddo." But that was a fun project. So it doesn't matter. Like if you've got a little bit of foam laying around or a card, you could do this with cardboard. It would be great with cardboard. You just paint it up and you can get that same texture that Daniel described and with his paint technique, and you could achieve the same look. Pretty rad. So bravo, sir, on the challenge. I'm gonna yield this one to you because you created 4 and I created 2, and I also I really like all the design. Like that Celtic cross is solid.
Oh, thank you. And I forgot to mention that I also when you started talking about all the texture that you put on yours, which is like awesome. I forgot that I did the tiniest bit of texturing on ours as well. Using another theater painting technique called spattering, which again I experimented with on my little scatter train that I made this week, which is just to apply millions and millions of little tiny dots of either both a light colored paint and a dark colored paint to sort of represent those little tiny moments where the light picks up on all of the little imperfections of the stone. And that really helps a lot as far as like a cheap, fast, and dirty way of getting some texture.
It makes a big difference.
Yeah. Daniel, you said that you tried it out on a smaller piece of scatter terrain.
I did, yeah.
And does those sorts of techniques work in the exact same way with the smaller things?
Yeah, so I did have to mess with the sort of like the viscosity of the paint, right? So normally when we're doing it on something big and you're taking like a big 4-inch brush and smacking it on your hand and sending dots out, you're using some pretty darn runny paint. But I found that to get the droplets small enough when I was working like in the very small scale, I had to use significantly thicker paint. And I was using it's actually a technique that I learned from makeup. Actually applying alcohol-based makeups, is to do my spattering. I was picking up my paint on the edge of my brush, dipping it down, and then flicking it this way with my finger to send tiny little droplets onto a very small workpiece. And finding that like sweet spot for the viscosity took a couple of tries because I'd never tried it before this weekend. But yeah, I think it produces a pretty good little texture. I'm not sure if I'd want to do it over something as like say the size of my bridge, because it would take like my entire life to spatter that. But for little things, it was pretty cool. It worked pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah, you were able to get some really good texture, create some texture with, just using, like you said, the different paint and recreating that natural light and how it would flick down upon an object. There it is, folks. The theater degree hard at work. It is useful and it can be used. I thought it was really cool. As soon as I saw it and then I realized what you had done, I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, what a cool skill that I think everyone in the crafting community should know if they're not familiar with it. That's something that can be utilized in all of your builds. And certainly with if you're creating the larger Halloween decorations as well. So, but like you said, if you do that on one of your like bridge techniques, it's a commitment. Now you're gonna have to try it and see how long it actually takes you to texture.
Yeah, wear out that hand. Sure. I think that understanding like the basics of trompe l'oeil can be super useful. Super useful for pretty much any parts of this crafting. When I watch video after video, the techniques of dry brushing get used constantly. Right. But I think that sometimes when you see the dry brushing doesn't quite work right, is oftentimes just the simple fact that that they're using the brush to like pick up the edges of stuff, but they're doing it indiscriminately, and they're just kind of going from all directions. And instead of just picking up the natural highlights that would come in from the area,
That's me.
It's me as well.
Indiscriminate dry brushing.
So, but if you dry brush and you sort of force it to pick up the edges that would naturally get hit by the light, as opposed to just everything, you sort of reinforce that there's a light source hitting this, and it's picking up these particular highlights. And I think that while the dry brushing can be used just to pick up texture in general, used strategically, it also does a really good job of emphasizing the lighting source, which is what lighting is what causes us to understand dimensionality in the first place.
Right.
So
maybe that's what I attempt today. Then in the new recycle bin build challenge, that maybe I'll try to enforce that when I get to the dry brushing stage of it. That's good.
And I'm just seeing in the chat, Caden Brodsky mentions using a toothbrush for spattering, which is like a really solid answer. Yeah, I just didn't have a sacrificial toothbrush, but yeah, fine, because it does require some stiffness on the bristle. If you're just using a simple floppy brush, you're not going to get a good flick, which is a weird. Like, I heard that sentence that I just said. It's a weird sentence, but yeah, you're not going to get a satisfactory flick off of the bristle to fling those paints. So that was.
Well, he would know what he's talking about. That is my nephew, by the way, gentlemen. Caden in the chat there.
Oh, fantastic.
So
My nephew's on chat
I
as
know.
well.
I just realized. I was like, it's nephew central on the channel right now. Caden's a fantastic artist, an extremely talented artist. He's a wonderful tattoo artist as well. So he's got like one of my favorite minis ever painted up here. In fact, stand by real quick because I have to shout him out because he just dropped some knowledge. I'm gonna grab it real quick. I'll be right back.
No worries.
Yeah.
So, what was the name of the technique that you're saying? Because I know that using light in painting, like whenever you look at sort of the classic painters, it was called chiaroscuro or something like that.
Oh, there's certainly chiaroscuro shading. I will put in the word because I certainly can't spell it without assistance from Google. So I just put it in chat. So it's I can even have Google say it for me.
Trompe-l'oeil.
Yeah. It literally means to trick the eye. Yeah. Over a little bit more.
Yeah, this is so this is the orc. This is a good one to show off for Orctober. Caden painted this one for me a while ago. And,
he's off camera right now.
Ew. You can't see him?
Oh, you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm watching it 10 seconds ago. I just realized because of the delay.
Yeah. It's okay. I'll show him. I'll put him up here too. You guys can see him a little bit. But this little orc is pretty fantastic. If I can get him to like focus in a little bit.
Yeah, he's got this flaming axe blade thing going on.
Dude, this thing is amazing. So, but all of the techniques that you're talking about as far as the lighting goes, is applied to this little. This massive orc with the flaming axe blade here that Caden painted up a while back for me. So it's pretty dope. Thanks for sharing that. Thanks for joining, nephew. It's good to have you in here. Up there. Oh yeah, we definitely miss you too, kiddo. Definitely glad that you're joining the stream and hanging out. Well, I would say if you have any questions about the gravestones, you can definitely reach out to me on the channel. I have Crazy Crafter channel 1983 at Gmail. You can always find me up there if you have any questions about building the gravestones. But that's a great build for the family, and I think everyone can get on board with that. And it's just a fun activity to build together for this holiday season. Make your house a little spookier. Make your house just a wee bit spookier. Um, so I wanted to transition and move into our next segment, which is the builds of the week. So every week on the Tabletop Crafters group, a ton of different artists share their work all the time on the guild, and we went through and we found some pretty awesome images from this last week. And I kind of wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about those. I'm scrolling through mine, but I want to start with Daniel's here because we kind of our theme of the month has been scatter terrain, and since we're in October, a little bit of spooky scatter terrain. But tell us about this first one. This is Eerie Hot, and please, if we mispronounce your name, let us know. We're doing our best here, but I think Eerie Ha, with this awesome mangrove scatter terrain. Tell us a little bit about this one, Daniel.
Oh yeah, so these were just these were a different kind of tree. Like I think that we've seen so many tree builds on the Crafters Guild because everybody needs trees. Everybody wants them. Everybody,
yes.
Everybody's going to a forest sooner or later, but there was something about these trees in particular, the gnarliness of the bottom of the roots, sort of like the diversity in the foliage. And I think that there's sometimes a hesitancy to have a nice chunky base at the bottom, because you don't want to get things in the way or whatever, but these bases are gorgeous. So it just all combines into frankly trees that they're so good for everything. Obviously, the mangroves are the swampy trees, but these are haunted trees. These are ancient forest trees because they've got that gnarly, it's really hard to not justify using them for almost everything. They're something that I haven't seen a lot of, and they're gorgeous.
Yeah,
beautiful tree.
They came out really well. It kind of I think, and she does Eerie talk about kind of like a mangrove, like that root that kind of those deeper, almost not quite tropical roots, but they definitely have a lot of different texture, and it's one of those builds. Just when it lands on the tabletop, it's just gonna add to the experience and the gameplay for everyone. It's a really cool build. I hadn't seen that one this week, Daniel. So I'm glad you showed this one.
Yeah, first one I saved because I saw those trees and I was just immediately drawn to them. And I think we just there's nothing wrong with trees in general. Everybody makes a tree, but and it's so easy to sort of scroll past a tree. It's great, you made your trees, but these ones, as soon as I saw them, I was I haven't seen those. I haven't seen those trees. The really swampy, gnarly root, and embracing the roots as opposed to sort of oh, I made the tree. Oh, I should put some roots on that.
Right.
Really embracing it. It's great.
Yeah, they did a fantastic job. It's a really, really cool tree. Having messed around and played around with that stump scatter terrain recently, that I made with all the hot glue in the world. It was, the roots were an afterthought, like you were saying. They're not an afterthought, but it wasn't the main motivation and design for the build. Where I felt, that design is just, it's all encompassing. I don't know if they started from the roots up, but it wasn't tacked on, like you said, for sure.
Right.
So that's a cool one. So this next one is from John Hosenfeld. Now I did see this one, and when you shared this one, I thought this was a really cool build and unique setup too when it came to scatter terrain. Tell us a little bit about this one, Daniel.
So as soon as I saw this build, I kind of immediately fell in love with it again, just like the trees. And I immediately had to click on John Hosenfeld's name and sort of dig through what else he'd done. Because this, I think last week we sort of talked about two of the big YouTube crafters and how one sort of leans towards the artistic side, do whatever you want, and then one sort of leans towards the very technical side of things.
Right.
And when I saw this build, I was like, this is a zero compromise build.
Mm.
Like, this is so technical and so versatile, and obviously you just look up even just the ones without like the going into the +4, just the different setups that John is able to make with this, that can be rearranged in all sorts of different very technical multi-purpose ways. So you're not building a set piece that is a one and done thing. This is something that you can use over and over again, and it's very technical and it just works perfectly, but it's so pretty. Like it also just stays pretty the whole time. So so it's just I love that sort of combination of technical skill to build something that works all the time, and then something that is just, that's a great dungeon tile. That's just pretty.
Yeah. They're definitely just clean and solid. Something, it always, whenever it catches my eye, something that I haven't quite seen before, and I think just again, the playability and the use that you can get from whatever build you've got going on. Like, I love and I completely respect everyone that's like, I am going to build the greatest encounter, and like if it's a single piece of terrain that's used for like one encounter in mind, that's so challenging for me because I want something that I can throw on the table over and over and over again. And I feel like John came up with a really cool system here. This is really neat.
I mean, this is Legos, right? I mean, like, and several of his other builds are like Legos. You just sort of have these wonderful pieces, and like boop boop boop. Now I arrange it and it's this room, and now I I rearrange it and it's this room. It's like, it's smart. I love that engineering sensibility.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
Kind of like a jigsaw.
Yeah, exactly. That's just it. It's exactly like a jigsaw. Okay. Let's see what we got here on the next one. So this one's Marius Oji-san. Oji-san, I believe, is from this crafter. This one, go ahead and tell. But already anyone who utilizes lighting and takes the proper time to shoot their stuff, it already adds so much. And I think Marius did a great job here with that.
Oh yeah. Okay. So this one I had to pin. Or like pin, because I use Pinterest. This one I had to save, just because the sort of like theme of the week, right? We were looking at gravestones, and this has definitely got that ooky spooky feel to it.
Yeah.
And then and like, again, it would get tiring to just point out craftsmanship over and over again. The craftsmanship, as with so like pretty much all these builds, is just like fantastic. I love that the top right picture, sort of the limited use of the individual bricks before it sort of like moves into what would be like the stuccoed wall or the plastered wall or whatever. Mm-hmm. Sort of like that limited thing, like which is a clever which is a sort of a clever time saver to give you the texture without devoting your entire life to putting bricks everywhere. Right. And then again, because I'm a theater person and I teach lighting courses for a living, you put good lighting on something, and like, you got me. Like, it's that easy. It's like, oh, nice selective focus. You've really pulled my attention to that casket. I'm in. Like,
it's something I'm definitely going to add back. And I want to add it back to my the gaming table whenever the day comes when we can meet again, in person. I want lighting to be a huge part of the gaming experience for the players.
Yeah, it's hard not to get excited about it, right?
Well, like it is, and I think like just little bits of just something small. Like, I know I've seen it a lot on gaming tables, like to get the LED strips, and they'll put them at the base of the tables or insert them so it's got like a lighted side effect feel. I've seen people utilize them in the builds too. I think it adds again that other element. And there's one of my picks from this week utilizes the lighting pretty well
in a big way.
Yeah, in a huge way. It's so cool.
Well, and one of Michael's most recent builds, the oh my goodness,
the Forge.
Forge, that's the word that I couldn't come up with. That Forge, just using it was an LED tea light, right?
Yeah.
That little bit of illumination is just like, it's just enough to elevate any build.
Yeah.
Like from, oh, that's nice, to like, oh, that's pretty dang amazing. Like, and frankly, getting your hands on the stained glass. What's that called?
It's called Bullseye Frit glass.
Yeah.
Frit. Frit.
Stroke of luck for me.
Sure. But if you get it, use it, right? Like,
well, and I think that's one of the genius parts of the build, Michael, was utilizing again a different material and a different texture that most crafters wouldn't have associated with, but thankfully that collaboration you did with Richard Tilbury like allowed you access, gave you the knowledge about the material. Yep. And you were able to implement it. And I think as a result, it reflects the tea light is amplified in a way that I haven't seen, that hot glue muddles. Hot glue muddles it in many respects, and the glass amplifies the light for sure.
Yeah, it refracts it in all those interesting, you get a lot more bang for your buck out of that tea light, for sure.
I mean, people use tea lights a lot in the tabletop crafting. DM Scotty started it all with the tea lights thing, and then Black Magic Craft and Tabletop Witchcraft. Tabletop Witchcraft especially, he's like an absolute genius with the way he uses lighting.
Yes. Yes.
And all those things. And but I mean, literally for me, it was literally just the addition of the glass was the only thing that really kind of set that aside. But yeah, it worked perfectly. As soon as Richard gave me that glass, I was just like, oh my goodness, that is going to look good. I knew it was going to look good.
Yeah. You were talking about Tabletop Witchcraft. Makes me think, I really appreciate both Wylock and Tabletop Witchcraft and the use of the little diodes, the LED diodes, where they hook them up to the battery. You're able to get, if you haven't seen the video, Daniel, I'll have to forward it to you, and I'll have to forward it to the rest of you guys too. I'm thinking of the glowing LED mushroom tree that he created a few weeks back, where it's like
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's basically got bioluminescent fungi essentially on this tree with the build. It's pretty cool. It makes a difference. Yeah. Little things like that help make it pop. This is a really cool build. I like that. I like that one a lot, Daniel. Marius, and then Ari and who was our John? You guys, John. Great builds, guys. Really fantastic stuff. Like super like all things that caught our eyes, and we were like, we have to feature this. It's so cool.
Yeah.
There's so many cool things that get posted from the community out there every week, and again, one of the hopes for the show is to just amplify that work, and then hopefully continue to inspire everyone as it is inspired all of us.
Right, and they're welcome to come on the show, right?
Oh yeah,
like
anyone. If anyone, during the course of the week, as we're focusing on scatter terrain this month, but it's anytime you want to come on the show and feature your work or share a process that you've come across or share something that is is inspiring you, all you have to do is email me. Send me an email at crazycrafterchannel1983@gmail.com, and we'd be more than happy to have you on the show. So these are great selections, Daniel. Well done, brother. I really love these. All right, Michael, moving on to yours. Now, this is your build. You found a particular build this week, and I think it's reflective upon your kind of where your mindset has been this past week, because you've been working with some resin. So tell us a little bit about this build.
Okay, so this is Chris Diepold, his name is, and he posted. I think this is an ongoing project that he keeps updating
Dude,
photographs,
this is amazing.
and it's like a seaside kind of little town um, with some docks, but it's the resin and the way he's poured the resin with the little corals underneath the water. I just think it looks absolutely awesome. So I mean, yeah, like you said, at the minute I'm trying a build at the minute that I'm using some resin, and I've been making lots of mistakes. So whenever I saw this, I was just like, whoa, that's what I want. That's what I wanted to achieve.
Mm.
So I've been asking people in the group and stuff, slowly getting there. But this guy knows what he's doing with that side of things anyway, for sure.
Yeah, it looks really cool. So there's one picture. We'll scroll to the next one. Again,
So
look at all the.
I actually don't know how he does that. That first picture that you're on right now. So once he pours the resin, it pours like glass, like it's very. But then he's managed to make a
Ripple
texture.
it. Yeah.
So he'll have used another medium. I wonder if that is acrylic gel medium, maybe that he's used on the top.
Probably. I think I've seen that used before, where they create that.
I have
rippling
seen
effect.
a couple builders. Yeah, I have seen a couple builders use gloss gel as well as Mod Podge to get that rip.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. That.
Yeah.
That particular water texture that Chris was able to get on here is amazing, and I moved to the second photo here that you shared with me here, Michael, and he's
I
got.
think that's the stage.
Yeah, this is a closer up of the bridge, but then also of just the rock and the different lighting and how it takes on. You go from the different shadows and texture on the rock that's above the water, and then it transitions into the wet stone area, or the wet earth, and then the just it's again, it looks like you're looking down and light is reflecting and going down into the water, highlighting just underneath the surface of the water. I think it's just amazing lighting here.
The epoxy, I mean, I've seen other people use it, but I've only really recently started using it myself. But it's a bit of a revelation, and I might go down that rabbit hole because it looks like water. I mean, like it when it dries, it looks like it's not. It looks wet. It looks
Yeah.
wet, and that's
Yeah.
the coolest thing about it. So I mean, yeah, I'm a bit obsessed with the resin idea at the minute, to be honest.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Well,
to be honest, you asked me to bring a couple of different builds. But for me, because of my head's in resin space at the minute, that is literally all I could come
that's
up with.
what you
So
came up with. Well, and then you got here again the use of color. This is amazing. All the coral that they pop, that Chris popped underneath here, is spectacular. So, my day job back in the day when I was going through college, when I was in college, I used to work security at the aquarium in Long Beach, and one of my favorite tanks was the live coral exhibit. And the live coral exhibit would, the lights would shut off at the end of the night, and you could see, like, again, the bioluminescence. But coral itself is very bright, very vibrant. So I just thought Chris did an amazing job here. Again, all the different color that's present within the build it's gorgeous. It looks amazing.
yeah.
Where did that coral come from, do you think? That miniature
Oh,
coral.
that's a good question.
I honestly believe that he's handcrafted all of those little pieces himself.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I
That
wouldn't
would
be
be
surprised
amazing.
if that was done with something like green stuff, or some sculpting clay or something,
Yeah.
and then
Well, Chris, you're gonna have to tell us. Hopefully, we'll have to. I'm definitely gonna hit all of these crafters up and let them know that they were featured in this week's build, and let them know about how much we appreciate their work and that we shared it, and they should check it out and share it with their friends because the work is amazing. So we'll have to ask Chris, and hopefully we can get some feedback from him. Maybe he'll tell us and share a little bit. Maybe he'll come on the show and tell us how he made it, or the link to where we can purchase it. maybe both. But I think it looks handcrafted too, Michael.
I reckon
think
so.
it looks handcrafted. Oh, you could if he has a 3D printer, he could be printing it too. That's another.
Yeah. Who is making 3D print things for Coral? That would be a very
Thingiverse, man. Thingiverse is wild. Have you been there, Michael?
no.
Oh, you'll have to go down the rabbit hole one of these days and go to Thingiverse. And if you guys aren't familiar with it, it's a great website that has a lot of free STL prints for resin printers. I think they do other files from just beyond the resin printers. But I've gone on there and searched for like a medieval helmet for when I was building the dioramas for my party members, and they've got it. They've got painting. They've got literally pretty much everything you can think of, Michael. It's pretty cool. It's a great free resource to just download whatever you need and then throw it on your favorite STL slicer and support it, and then boom, you're ready to go. Pretty cool.
So there are actually a remarkable number. There are actually a remarkable number of Coral files.
Daniel is on it. He I figured someone would be looking it up. It's
right then. Maybe it is. Maybe it is.
Could be. We'll have to find out. Well, this is a cool build. I want to come back to your resin print here in a second after this segment, Michael.
Do you mind if I can't stop myself from crafting here? I'm just going to go ahead with these gravestones.
Okay, so let's do that while you guys are getting ready. The new thing new segment we're introducing this week is crafting from the bin. So basically, taking any recycled material from stuff that you hadn't been planning to craft with, or stuff that was from a craft, right? So on here this week, when I was making the bases for my gravestones, I have some spare XPS foam. Yeah, the spare XPS foam here, and it looks like rocks. So I was like, oh great, I can take that, and I threw it in there. I'm using cardboard this week. I've got a ton of cardboard here from it had like Costco cans, and it's, can we take a particular item or theme, and can we craft something within 45 minutes? So we're about there. We're gonna have to actually build it less than 45 minutes because we've got just over an hour. So we've got to try to build a piece of scatter terrain right now from recycled materials within the 45-minute mark, from start to finish, from cutting it to completion, right? So that's going to be an amazing task to do. We're going to try that. As you guys get to work on that, I'm going to talk about the crafters that I saw this week and chat about them for a second here before I get to crafting. So I'm going to have a little more time. But this is how we're going to do it, right? You're already doing it. I thought of the Great British Baking Show. So ready, set, craft. There you go. That's it. So
we're doing gravestones, right?
I think so. The theme is gravestones. Let's try to do some spooky scatter terrain. Let's see if we can build some gravestones. However that means. It could be individual. It could be whatever you want. Yeah. But see what you can come up with. So real quick on mine before I get going. Andy Langelis created some amazing trees this week that I felt I had to share. Again, the tree builds are always fantastic on the Tabletop Crafters Guild, and I just love these. Are like, I thought they could either be, you could put these in a forest and make them spooky. Again, the roots you're talking about here, Daniel, just the texture on the tree itself I thought was absolutely fantastic. So bravo, Andy, for these fantastic trees that you built, and we're gonna have to get you on the show and figure out how you made them. Then Brandon Egbert created for Orkstober, which I didn't know Orkstober was a thing. So it is a thing. And he created this kind of like Mad Max Fury Road Beyond Thunderdome build from a toy car that he's modded. And he's got all these awesome orcs that he's painted up on the inside for his war. They got their little war machine going on. But this made my day when I saw this. So this is a fantastic build, Brandon. My son loved this one when I showed it to him.
Colin, you know the Orktober thing is pretty much specifically a Warhammer thing.
I didn't see, and that's I love the fact that it's I love it. I was like, and it should be Orkstober across every platform, every game, in my opinion, because why not? Right?
Yeah.
There's orcs all over the place, but this particular build for 40K was pretty dope. I love it. So it'd be interesting to see if you've got an idea out there for orcs, whether it's Warhammer or D&D, we'd love to see your build. Send us the images, and we'll feature them on the show, or we'll have you on the show. But this is a cool build. I just love taking something from, a cheapo toy from the dollar store and converting it into, again, something that can be used on the tabletop. It's amazing. This is really cool, Brandon. And then my last one that I have here, man, Ray Nix he's all right. Ray Nix is, he's primarily on Instagram. He posts in the Tabletop Crafters Guild frequently too, but his builds and terrain are just amazing. But the lighting here, going back to the lighting that he's implemented, I know Richard Quiner was playing with him recently in a game, and it was a game run by Ray, and he's just got some amazing builds, some amazing technique. He's a really talented builder. If you don't follow him, he's got _DM, believe, on Instagram. You should check his page out. But he's got some great tutorials and videos on his Instagram as well. He live streams his crafting sessions, and it's cool to go hang out with. I try to frequent there whenever I have free time too. But just again, the lighting that he created for this build, this is absolutely a terrifying experience. If I were a player entering that space, I would be freaking out.
Unhappy.
Yeah. Like bad things are about to happen. I want to know how he did that glowing rune down there. It's just so cool.
I saw that. Well, that is awesome. I think the glowing rune is etched perspex.
Perspex. So what are the perspex?
So like as in perspex glass, as in like a plastic acrylic kind of thing, and it's been etched. So like if you etch it and then you shine the
plexiglass, we call it.
Oh, okay.
So then if you shine the light in, just the part that's been etched glows.
Oh, wow.
That's very cool.
We'll have to reach out to him and ask him how he did that. That's just amazing. It's fantastic. Well, thank you so much to all the featured builders we had on here today. Keep crafting. You guys are killing it out there. Speaking of crafting and trying to kill it, I need to build my thing now, so I'm gonna go through that. I guess I kind of want to know, what are you guys building here? This is kind of what I've got working with here, gents.
Okay,
I've got this giant cardboard thing that had a bunch of soda cans in it, so I'm gonna cut this out. What do you got going on, Michael?
Well, so my build that I'm doing for my channel this week is something from Skyrim, and it has a lot of arches. And I cut out some arches, and these are the recesses that were left behind.
Okay.
And whenever you said that we were doing gravestones, basically they make the perfect gravestones.
Oh, nice.
So these were pretty much exactly the shape whenever I cut them out. So they're left behind.
Love it.
They're left behind from the previous build, and currently, well, this is kind of where I've gotten to. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I like
that. Those look great. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically mine is just offcuts from XPS foam that I've been doing this week. And I'm just going to try and do two little gravestones sitting on a little platform.
Nice. What do you got working with, Daniel?
So I am going to go big, and then I will stay home because I'm already here. I have some foam core guts from the last scatter that I made, and some XPS from the bridge build that I made, as well as some cardboard, cheap thin cardboard. And literally when we started just now, I had like this whole plan. I was like, okay, we're doing gravestones, I'm gonna do a thing. And then as soon as you said and go, I like pitched that, and I went, I'm gonna make that sort of standing obelisk type gravestone.
Yep.
With we'll see if we can put like a foam carved figurehead of some kind on that. So we're giving it a shot.
Nice.
We're giving it a shot today.
I like it. It's bold and ambitious. I have, what do I have here? So I kind of, when I went grocery shopping this week, got some soda. Had this really cool. I like emptied the soda cans out, and then at the base of the cardboard were all these little circles. Okay. So from the indentations from the aluminum cans, and I was like, oh man, that'll be a great base. So I'm gonna try to make these from this little base, and then I have this one scrap of XPS, or not XPS, it's dollar store foam core, and then I've also got I'm gonna it's technically, I don't think it's cheating. It's what I have. I also have this thick mud texture from Vallejo that's pretty dope. So I'm gonna try to see if I can just coat the base in this mud. I'm trying to think of something that I could do quickly here, and go from there. So, but
yeah, drying time is gonna get you, man.
Drying time might gonna get me, but the mud will go quick. So if I get the mud on there now, and I get the see, here's what I'm gonna have to do. I don't have a glue gun. Because I forgot anything. Why would I need something to adhere to when crafting? So I'm going to try using the mud as an adhesive and trying to glue my my gravestones into that. So, and I've got this spare XPS foam here to try to make some rocky terrain. I've got few little grass tufts that I can throw in here. So I'm just going to try to see if I can make a couple different little scatter bases. We'll see. And I don't know if it'll work.
It'll work.
I think so. I think it might.
Think positively.
It's true. See, there I go. I'm talking about all the crafters that, are having the same issues, and I'm one of them. I'm like, I don't know if it's gonna work, but who knows? We'll try. If you guys have any ideas there in the chat for our builds, and you've heard our plans, please shout us out. Let us know if there's something we should do or try, and we will try it.
Or what incredible pitfalls you see us already falling into, like whatever you see.
Yeah, it might go terribly awry, but that's okay. Okay, let's do this.
The thing is that maybe we should up this build challenge by saying if anyone manages to use Daniel's cool painting technique, they get extra bonus points.
I like that. I'm all for that. I'm gonna try and I definitely am gonna try to utilize Daniel's cool painting technique this go around. Let's see what happens. All right, I've got this. I need to mix up my Mod Podge here, so I am gonna do a little bit of. I am gonna go with the standard black Mod Podge mix here because stones. It's not a bad combo. Although to save some time and some drawing time, I have the pewter. I know I'm gonna do the pewter. I can just do this. Okay. I'm gonna use the pewter to mix it with. That's gonna work.
Yeah, before the stream, Colin and I were talking about that, about sort of how it's just recognized standard knowledge that you should be doing like black Mod Podge, and sort of questioning whether or not, there's a time saver of just mixing up a big vat of black. But if you're doing a lot of dirt, start with your umber, or start with your, make your brown Mod Podge, right?
Right.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. Actually, a lot of people actually do. I know a lot of crafters. I mean, if you go into one of Black Magic Crafts tutorials on Black Mod Podge, for instance, like there's quite a few dislikes on it as well as likes. There's people in the community who don't do that. They don't do the Black Mod Podge. They do a white base, or they do a different colored base, a green base, you name it. Like I've just stuck to the black base because it suits me, and I generally like darker colors.
Mm.
I like the aesthetic of something darker. But if you like something a bit lighter, why not use something else?
Right. Right.
For sure. And this is something that's not. It's tangential to what we were just talking about. But Michael, I've got to appreciate. I genuinely appreciate, as I watch your videos, that you are mixing up colors using artists' paints. That you're throwing down raw umber and you're mixing your titanium white, and you're using all these classic artists' colors, as opposed to and which it relies on an understanding of color theory that I appreciate, as opposed to just dropping another $2 for, well, I need a lighter brown now, so I've got to go to the craft store and buy the lighter brown. I appreciate that you are mixing live, and you
That's really cool, man. But to be honest,
that skill set. So,
well, like, you're being very kind, because to be honest, that is completely by accident. Whenever I started doing all of this crafting stuff earlier in the year, I didn't have any materials, but my wife went to art college, and she had a box full of acrylic paint. So I didn't buy any new crafting materials. I just used her paint, and basically, because we're doing everything on a budget right now, because the world is a mess.
Yeah.
My only option is to do that. So it's been more out of necessity rather than me being a super artistic or skillful person in any regard.
Well, regardless of the reason behind doing it, it takes a skill.
Yeah.
It takes a skill, and you got it.
Thanks, man. Thank you. That's
yeah.
Cool. I do actually, to be honest, now that I've started that way, I can't imagine myself going and buying all of these mid-tones and stuff. I can't imagine myself doing that. I'm just like, okay, I probably will mix them from now on, because that's just the way I started. I'll just keep going that way.
Yeah, it's cool, man. I love seeing the palette, and I love seeing stuff getting mixed.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of funny things to write on the gravestones. I was gonna put I rolled the nat 1 for one of them. What else should I put on these gravestones, everyone that's out there listening?
Rest in pieces.
Yeah, I got rest in pieces. That'll be one of them. I rolled poorly. I rolled poorly is good too. I rolled poorly. All right, where you guys at?
Reminds me of the Indiana Jones.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking of, Daniel, for sure. You rolled poorly. 100%. Where's Where's your builds at, guys? Where are you at there, Daniel? Talk to us about some progress. Where are you at?
So I've got the beginnings of my obelisk, right? So
Oh,
I've
nice, dude.
sort of got that in, and maybe I should base that out in my gray before I start
Mm,
working on the next thing.
maybe.
Trying to with 45 minutes, I'm trying to think time management, right?
Yeah, yeah. Time management is a big deal. Um, it's
You
gonna
know,
be.
so gravestones going on right now.
Oh,
I
those are
love that.
great. Look at you. Look at you. I like that. I'm over here. Um, I'm carving up rocks. I'm trying to like create my own little scatter train. These are the thing. This is the part of the build where I was like, oh man, this is gonna. I'm gonna really push this if I try to create these little pink foam rocks here that I put as scatter, like a little bit of just natural some natural stone work in with the gravestones. It's gonna be tricky, but I'm gonna try it. We'll see what happens. Oh, let's see. How would I carve that out? I'm gonna try carving out one of these cool little Celtic crosses that Daniel built on the fly here.
So I the trick with the Celtic cross that I made in my miniature, which
Yeah.
I guess I haven't even like shown, is that I did not cut the little dots out. I just kind of blacked them out because trying to get the little openings in the middle of the circle
Yeah.
would be really hard. I mean, I considered doing it with like a pin vise or something,
Yeah.
but ultimately, I said, just kind of paint them darker and let them go away.
I totally biffed the first one, by the way. I cut my cross and ruined it.
Yeah, and getting that primary form, the circle and then the cross inset, like that's probably the hardest part. Is just like thinking through, like, how do I actually cut this thing?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm quickly running out of foam options here. Let's see. Uh,
Believe in you, Colin.
oh, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it a different way. I use this spare. I grabbed a piece of balsa wood to stir my my Mod Podge mixture, but I'm gonna take up the other piece of
Sure.
wood, and I'm gonna cut that up as a wooden cross.
That makes sense.
I think
good.
so. We'll try that
Yeah.
out.
So, I haven't actually shown off the build that I did in preparation for it, but I made a little thing this week because we were doing gravestones. So this is the guy, and
Oh, cool.
it's exactly the same techniques that I used before. And if I can get the trompe l'oeil to show off,
It's coming through there. It's coming through on that first one especially. That looks really good.
It's all the same tricks, just sort of identifying the highlights and the lowlights. And these are just double layered cereal box cardboard. And there's no dimensionality to it except for the stuff that I painted on. And very much like the ones for the yard, it was a spatter and then the trompe l'oeil, and it works pretty good for me.
Yeah, that came out really nice, Daniel. I love that piece. That's super fun for the table. So Mod Podge is a little bit of a glue. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no! I was just saying. I think that there's probably got to be like a sweet spot because getting the genuine texture and detail of certain real world things definitely makes a craft look amazing.
Yeah.
But I also think at a certain point I can only cut things so small.
Yeah.
Right. So there's got to be that. There's got to be that balance point where, I can fake it. Right.
Yep.
At a certain scale, I can't just cut my cardboard any smaller. So maybe I can paint on those little bits of detail and just sort of cheat.
Yeah, it's definitely. I don't know. I that's what I like too because I was just like, couple things here. I screwed up that build. I was like, or I screwed up the first couple cuts with that cross, and I was just like, oh man, I don't know what to do. I was like, that's okay. I was like, oh, balsa wood. Use that. That'll make like stone. Like that's recycled. Like I could just use that from what I broke off. And now I think I'm on to something here. We'll see. I was like, I don't have any glue. I do have glue. I have Mod Podge right here. I totally have some glue. I just gotta like go the PVA route and then hope that I glue this stuff in time for it to set. So we'll see how that works. So there's my little cross, and there's my little base that it'll go in. There it is, guys. Tiny little wooden cross with stone.
There you go.
Yeah, we're getting there. Okay, now to take a little bit of this, I'm gonna take this, and I gotta Mod Podge the base because I want that to be stone that it's in. That's gonna be cool. So this is great, guys. Like, we're open to ideas. Like, we're hoping that, as we build and as we, continue to do the stream, more and more folks get excited about the challenge. And if you have an idea for a challenge that you'd like to see us throw down, or even better, if you have a challenge where you want to come on and you want to compete with us, and you think you have what it takes to come on and throw down, which, let me tell you, I am a force to be reckoned with here, as you can see. So, like, look out. But if you want to come on and have some fun, again, email me at the Crazy Crafter Channel. That's Crazy Crafter Channel 1983 at gmail.com, and I will get you on the show, and you will be able to fulfill what you didn't know is one of your lifelong passions, which was to come on the show and compete in this crafting bin challenge, because it's a great thing. I really was inspired by Lucas last week with his desires and wanting to use what he has available. Same desires that Michael's utilized when it comes to his crafting. What is available to you? What do you got? And how can you utilize that? So I think it's a fun segment, and I'm really excited that I get to do the inaugural session with you fine gentlemen. This is a fun session.
Yeah, happy to do it.
I love the live crafting aspect. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, it's kind of a wild component, isn't it? Where again, you don't know what's going to happen. You have to try to do a build as quickly as you can. We get a little bit of time to think about it, but not much. We don't get a ton of time. It's just a fun thing to do, and we get to craft a little bit. We get to walk away with new scatter. I really like your obelisk idea, Daniel.
We'll see. We'll see. It's gonna be fun.
Okay. So now I have all my gravestones painted or made up. So now I'm just gonna throw this Mod Podge on here. See how that goes. Huh. That's wild. This paint is an older pewter paint, and it seems to be, I don't know. It's working.
Kind of funny whenever everyone gets crafting, the conversation kind of becomes a little bit more like.
It's true. It's true. We should be more entertaining. So
I mean, I think we're trying. We're trying here. I think this would be a great time. Speaking of entertainment value, and also a great way to learn. Michael, tell us a little bit about your resin build this week and what happened with that as that unfolded.
Okay, so I'm in the middle. I've kind of been playing Skyrim a lot recently.
Good.
All time well spent. Time well spent.
Yeah, and that's obviously where the build came last week, where I did the little furnace thing,
Yep.
the riverwood furnace. But I did another build this week, which was some like a stone circle that's in the game. I don't want to give away too much because I'm going to launch the video this week, but and I in the middle of this pool of water, there's a standing stone. So basically, I hot glued my standing stone into the base, and then I poured my resin, and everything looked perfect. And I went to sleep, and I was just like, "That is going to look awesome in the morning." And I woke up, and I don't know whether the resin ate the hot glue, it disintegrated the hot glue, or whether it had such a compulsion to float that it broke away from the glue and it sort of moved off to the side. And I woke up in the morning and the resin was solid and my standing stone was on its side and kind of in the completely wrong place. And it was an absolute disaster.
So what kind of resin are you using?
Sorry, say it again.
What kind of resin are you using?
I think what's the name of it? It's a 2-part resin. It's 24-hour cure. It's clear crystal resin.
Oh, like is it like clear cast?
It is something like that, yeah. It's pretty much that kind of thing. And I put a little bit of coloring in it, a little bit of blue coloring just to give it a slightly watery look. But to be honest, I'm a complete newbie to the resin casting thing. So this is probably someone out there is going like, oh, I know exactly why that happened.
Well, if you know exactly why it happened, please send us the email and let us know so we can prevent future resin mishaps, because we're learning too, everyone. That's the fun part about this hobby.
Well, I mean, for me, it's like
maybe not fun for you yesterday.
Maybe not fun, yeah.
Honestly, like genuinely, like whenever I say this, I'm actually not joking. I felt like crying.
Yeah, it's because you spent all that time and you got to that one stage and it's like so close to the end of the build, you know?
Yeah.
So rough.
So so that video was supposed to be released tomorrow, and it is now going to be released on Wednesday instead because it's currently drying, so I can't finish the piece off. There's still flocking to do and all sorts, so oh well. But yeah, so that was a disaster, a learning curve. But you know what I found though, like with that experience, whenever I sat down, I pulled it out and I saw it, rather than getting really despondent and disappointed and act the way I used to act when maybe I would be younger, I would have probably gotten very angry and frustrated. I noticed that I almost was emotionless about it and kind of just like, right, let's just fix the problem kind of thing. Yeah. So the actual act of crafting and making things, I think, brings in to your life a bit of patience and maturity, in my opinion.
It definitely.
There is a question in the chat.
Oh, what is it? What is the question?
We have a question. It says, do you each have your own color layout order/process you can describe?
Is that in regards to? You think they're talking about painting there? Are you guys talking about painting?
I'm assuming.
Yeah, I do for painting.
Yeah, go for it. What's your process there? Someone tackle that first.
I've started doing it right now. So because we're working on stonework, I'm going for obviously black Mod Podge base coat. And then I use as my second coat, it's not exactly dry brushing, but maybe over brushing with graphite gray. Graphite gray literally looks like graphite whenever you paint it. It's so cool. And then I do dry brushing with neutral gray value 5, which is an acrylic paint. And then final highlights with neutral gray mixed with titanium white, the way Daniel was saying. And then that's my stonework done. Although I have started to try and introduce beige because on the crazy or on the not the crazy on this is Crazy Crafter on the Crafters Guild. That was the one constructive criticism that I had on my last build that I posted was maybe include some beige in your dry brushing because it helps with the realism of it. So I've been experimenting with that. I'll be honest, I haven't done anything that I've actually liked yet, but yeah, beige might be a new part of that. That's me, though. That's mine done.
What about you, Daniel?
So, and we're limiting this to stone? Is that what we're talking about right now?
No, it's just your process. It was open. The question was open. Like, what is your paint? Is like it. I guess would it differ if it wasn't stone for you? If you were painting like trying to create a different texture, would you alter your process?
Possibly. So I think that right. So I started from scenic painting. Mm-hmm. So we sort of approach things differently depending on what with. So I think generally, if I had to break it down, I would start with any kind of medium tone. Any kind of medium tone as my base layer. Mm-hmm. So, and have that determined by whatever product I'm trying to end up with, right? So, like, it's funny because frankly, doing rocks aren't that different for me. Because just normally remember. So I usually start with anything sort of in like the medium gray realm, and mm-hmm. And then as soon as you apply some sort of like neutral middle gray, it's at that point when you sort of delve into your highlights and your shadows that you can sort of refine the palette. So like for this one, I might I'm probably going to do the spattering technique that I did before, but I think I'm going to do my low light in like a navy blue, probably. Oh, nice. And then maybe pick up, I've got a bunch of really pale greens, and I might do that. And then that's going to shift that whole thing into a different sort of palette than I would see with just sort of sticking with blacks and whites. And even when I do a white, I probably keep that in sort of like the cream colors or like the tans or something like that, as opposed to going with the stark, like a titanium white, just because it warms it in a more natural way, I think. Yeah. But yeah, I think that starting sort of somewhere in the middle, and I know that people like to start all the way down at black and then build up. But I think especially if you're using washes and stuff, you're going to throw that dark stuff in there eventually anyway.
Sure.
So I think starting in the middle is fine. And maybe it saves you a step. But the people that are doing this that are super good, they're super good for a reason, right? So if you've spent any time with me, you know that I've got no shortage of opinions on how things should work or go, but to each their own, right?
That's right. And that's what's so cool about the craft is it's going to vary from person to person, right? It's not right. Going to be the same for each one. I definitely tend to work a little darker sometimes, with that, having watched all the footage and videos that we've watched over the years, trying to find that base is important. I think the sealant is always important to like seal it, make sure it's good. So that's why the Mod Podge is good. But based on the conversation we were having, Daniel, I've started to veer away from that same thing. It's like how can I increase or decrease rather the amount of time a project takes. What can I do? And one of the things I feel is the black mod code base is awesome, super important. Um, you have to have a good a good base coat down to seal the product, but it doesn't have to be black all the time. Again, like what works best for your projects, right? When I did some ice scatter terrain recently, I was like, I don't want to use black. I want to use the color that I'm going with, so I went with kind of that aqua color to start off with the Mod Podge, and that works great. So, but once I get that base coat down, it depends. Like I really think the quick stonework, like that graphite that you guys are talking about, like um, I really like dry brushing on after that whatever the base coat is, and hitting the dry brush and just trying to hit what is our French pronunciation of that of
Uh,
that
Trompe l'oeil.
trompe l'oeil. I try my trompe l'oeil. I try to trompe l'oeil as best as possible, but um, from that, I don't always succeed, but I'm trying. I try to dry brush with the trompe l'oeil in mind to try to create that kind of natural lighting, and then from there, I will typically go back, and I'm a huge fan of washes. Washes make the world go round for me in my crafting world, and once you hit the wash on there, it it really makes a difference. And then oftentimes that'll mute whatever dry brushing I've just done, and then I'll go back in and uh, layer some more dry brushing in, and then I also like washing too. Sometimes it depends on the project. I'll just do layers of different wash that I make. I'm still trying to like play around with homemade wash. Agrax Earthshade is the greatest thing in the world. I think it's like I love those dark washes that dirty it up, that give it a realistic quality, and I like playing around with different washes. So if it's like something that's been exposed, like wood that's been exposed to moisture, how what kind of you know what's growing on that wood now. So trying to give it maybe a little bit of a green tinge, so it has like that mossy look. Um, and then that'll take layers sometimes, gents. Like where I'll layer something with the washes like that until I feel like I've got it. So I've done like 6 or 7 layers of wash in certain areas trying to make that happen. Um, so once I hit that, like that's my big step. I really enjoy the ability to dry brush because then you don't have to wait for stuff to dry as quickly as long, and you can go from there.
Love it.
Yeah. So with these, I have this cardboard, guys, and with the edges, there's like no clear way to like clean up and make them not look like cardboard in the amount of time that we have and what I have. So I was just like, I'm gonna create a black rim and paint just the rim around like you would the base of a mini to make the mini pop. I'm gonna try to achieve the same thing, just trying to make the edge and the lining of it look a little cleaner. So that's what I'm doing. Where are you guys at? How's it going on your ends, Michael? Let's see. Oh my gosh, look at you. Look at you.
He's a beast.
He is a beast. He's like, yeah, no problem, boys. Is it done? Oh, you're muted because you're blow drying over there.
I was blow drying my Mod Podge
You're
nose.
blow drying your Mod Podge. I see. I'm not blow drying today. I'm gonna try. I am kind of blow drying, but I'm using because again, I've got with whatever I got. I'm kind of like I'm here painting the rim in, and then like occasionally blowing, blowing on all my pieces right now, trying to get it to dry. So, anyway. That's good. So the Mod Podge is down. Now you're going to the what? The dry Are you dry brushing now?
But next, I've just done my graphite gray. I'm moving on to my neutral gray now.
Nice.
Uh,
Nice.
so I will be muted for a second here because I'm just going to do another quick blast with a hairdryer.
Do it. Do it.
I don't think I've ever used this hairdryer to dry my hair. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm thinking about ordering another hairdryer because I got Mod Podge paint all over my hairdryer that we normally have. Don't tell my wife; she doesn't know yet. But this is a public thing. Oh, well, now she knows. Oh gosh, sorry, wife. I'll try to clean. I'll try to clean it up, love. I will. I promise. I'm good for it.
Yeah, yourself. You done played yourself.
I did. Oh yeah. It's like I'm reminiscent to blowing on food from my son when he was super young. Right now is like what all those moments have prepared me for this challenge. Oh, it's gonna be close.
When are we supposed to stop?
We're supposed to like 15 minutes. I want us to stop in 15 minutes, so we can have 5 minutes to review what we did.
Okay.
That's at 11:55.
It is on.
It
or
is on
7:55, right?
Or yeah, or wait, what time that? Yeah, it's later. It's later over there for you, brother. He's like
It's 7:40 right now.
7:40. Yep, 7:55. Mike or Daniel had it right. Daniel had it right.
Which is great because I'm at the time of the day where I get to drink a few glasses of wine, where you guys are drinking coffee.
Bro, don't worry. It's 7:41 somewhere.
Literally, yeah. Got it.
Oh wow, I don't know. It's gonna be close. It's going to be close. Yeah, that's very skill. So you guys see the chat? I can't see it. It's not updating for me. Is there anyone else in there? You kind of had it there, Daniel. Is there anyone else up there?
Caden comes in and says, "I like how washes are important in this and tattooing, albeit a slightly different application, but mostly the same principle."
So they wash and tattooing? That's wild.
I was not aware of that.
Caden, tell us more about the wash application. And I don't know why my chat is not updated. Like I have no new chatting on my screen. So if you would monitor that for me, Bubba. Like let me know if anyone else is in there. And I want to know, Caden, like how is the wash applied to tattooing? Because that's interesting. I wouldn't even think, like, how do you even do that? Like, that's interesting. I guess, like, is it the
gray wash?
I don't know. We'll find out.
He says gray wash, and that's interesting to me because when you mentioned that Caden was a tattoo artist, a good tattoo artist, just watering down black to varying degrees. Right. So he says that a gray wash is just thinning the black in the tattoo. And a good tattoo artist understands light. Right? Just like I was sort of talking about earlier, like I'm doing a very rudimentary version to do a good black and white tattoo with any kind of level of realism without really understanding where that light is coming from and how the shadows are naturally following. I mean, to a certain extent, you can always fake it just sort of by copying a reference, but tattoo artists, the good ones, they're working in a bizarre medium and they crush it. You know,
yeah. Interesting. Things that I did not know. Washes being applied in the realm of tattooing. It's not just in the crafting world that the washes are important. Oh geez, this one is like it's a new paint that I grabbed. Steel gray from Folk Art. I wanted a lighter gray, and I got it.
If I didn't miss it, I think that on your crafting table you had the Folk Art medium gray, right? Just
I do.
Yeah, it is my It is my most used paint for crafting. I just throw it on
It's a
pretty
good
much
one.
everything.
It's a good one. I like it a lot. Um, let's see. What do I need now? I need. I don't know. I feel like my thing is the dry time. How's yours coming along, Daniel? Where are you at with yours? Are you doing the? Is it the? You're doing the obelisk?
Yeah, so I did the obelisk in tiny side of cardboard. Um, and I will show you exactly where I've gotten in one moment after I get this bead of hot glue on.
Okay. Oh, glue! You came prepared for this challenge. I,
Well,
I've got no. I've got Mod Podge.
so I I've taken core and foam core and cardboard,
Oh my gosh!
and I have carved this gal on top of my obelisk.
Oh my gosh! Look at that! You carved that?
Yeah, it's just foam core guts,
When
right?
did you carve that?
No. Well, we
You
were
are
talking about gray
amazing.
washes.
Dude, I love it. So impressive. So impressive.
Um, I mean, this isn't getting admitted into the Louvre, you know what I mean? But I'll throw it on my tabletop.
All right. Well, I am at the stage where some of these rocks, believe it or not, are ready. I say that as I touch one that's wet, are ready for a little dry brush. So here's to dry brushing. And let's see, do I have a smaller? Do I have anything that's smaller? Man, I don't want to use this one, but I'm going to. I have to. Because time.
Yeah, now we're in crunch time. Now I gotta move on. So
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, crunch time is, I was thinking of like, what is this crafting challenge like? And I was like, it's a little bit of like Great British Baking Show, like where you're
sure.
trying to come off and and do the craft. It's a little bit of Iron Chef, like maybe kind of like Iron Chef it, because you get like basically less than that or that hour mark to create this awesome meal in such a short period of time. Um, but it's certainly a fun challenge, and I think we're all simply just crushing it. I think we're all crushing it. Oh, there's a little bit of your shade of I'm gonna call it Lupiere right now. I know that's not the name of it because I keep forgetting like what the like.
Oh, yeah, it's because it's a dumb word.
It's not a dumb word. I just keep forgetting what to call it. I forget the name.
Trompe l'oeil.
Trompe l'oeil.
I like Lupiere better.
Yeah, we'll go with the Lupiere technique. It is fascinating how Lupiere is coming into play. No, trompe l'oeil all over, dude. How much time? Ha ha! Like 7 minutes. I love it. We're so crunching it here. This is
I'm on my last little bit now. I'm kind of applying my grass.
You're getting grass in there now?
Oh, this guy.
I know, right? It's just, I've got my grass, no big deal. My grass that's in this build. I definitely I feel like I brought the, I was going to say brought a knife to a gunfight for this challenge, but I didn't bring it. I forgot the knife. Like I didn't even bring it. I didn't even have it. So this is great. I'm trying to do the trompe l'oeil shading on these gravestones though, so we'll see how it comes out. We'll see how this turns out. Like moonlight hitting it, kind of. That's what I'm going for. Moonlight hitting.
Love it.
Moonlight on my trompe l'oeil gravestones. Yeah, you got. I love like you guys. So right, you guys are like so focused in on what you're doing. It's
Can't
just me
help it.
singing. It's just seeing me singing trompe l'oeil over here. Our
It's
poor
all good.
viewers.
And and so, what are you using for your grass?
So I went out into the garden and I've got an ivy vine, and it has these little fronds that grow on it.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
So it's I just pulled them off, and I stuck them in the oven with some bark this afternoon. Because I went to the park today and I picked up a whole bunch of bark with some crafting. So I did an oven session this afternoon, and that's fresh out of the oven.
Ooh, it is
Yeah,
like the Great British Baking Show over there. I like it.
Yeah.
You were saying.
I actually stole one of your techniques, Michael, for my gravestone scatter.
Yeah.
I needed some little weeds or whatever around the gravestones, and so I found some twine. I love that twine. Like,
it works good.
It's one of those. Oh, it's so obvious. Once Michael showed me. Like,
The thing about that twine is that you can use it for so many things. So many things.
yeah, it's so good.
As well as using it as actual string.
Yeah, and because we use it for the garden, pulling things back. And yesterday I was just sort of fumbling around. It's like, this needs dead grass. This needs. I want to finish that up. I want to have something to make it look bad, and bad in the controlled good way. And that was it. It was great. Worked a treat.
I'm glad I'm helping you make things look bad.
That's 100% what I wanted the takeaway to be. That's what I wanted. Yeah.
Oh man. All right, gents. Like we're pretty close here. We're pretty close. Just a few minutes away. I'm gonna try doing this. Oh yeah, let's try it. Fortune favors the bold.
Cool, I'm done.
Oh.
Go. So Michael finishes first. He's like Bobby Flay over there, confident. He's finished early. He's having some ouzo celebrating. Let's see it. Let's see it.
1 second. Oh yeah.
Oh, look at that. That looks great.
Oh, so good.
That looks great. What a great build.
The back's pretty cool as well because I beat up the back of the stones.
Yeah, that looks cool. I like that.
So, like 1,000-mile view, if you weren't doing this in 45 minutes,
yeah,
what changes would you make to bump that next level? Like, where do we go?
String flocking, like what you were just talking about.
Uh-huh.
So basically, instead of using string, I used bark, which I put in the blender. I put bark in the blender, and it breaks up to this kind of texture. And I just painted it green, and it just kind of looks more mossy than actual grass. That kind of suits the piece. I probably would have maybe did better designs for the gravestones. I think I might have gone for a Celtic cross. I really liked your Celtic cross. That's cool.
Yeah, the Celtic cross is sick.
Oh, thank you.
But that's a bit more that would take definitely a bit more time than this little quick shape.
Yeah.
What else? I don't know. Really. Maybe not too much. I mean, to be honest, like the vast majority of my builds are kind of speed builds because I just once I've got the idea of what I want to do, I just like kind of get really focused in and just
Yeah,
do
he's
it.
in it. He's in it. Okay, let's see. Let's see what I can do here. We're like, okay, so this is like 1 minute left, gents. 1 minute. If we were in the cooking show, we'd be plating right now.
I am currently plating. Yeah.
You're plating.
All right.
I am trying to plate.
I think I'm dry enough. I think I am done.
Oh, golly. I'm trying.
That is awesome, man.
I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. This is happening. Okay,
yeah. So I didn't get enough detail on the back of the wings, but let's go with any detail on the back of the wings. But I would plop her down, and I think she could live in the same world as these, right? Like
perfect, man. So you've sculpted that little angel from scratch.
Yeah, since we were working out of the bin, yeah, it's entirely made out of just the inside of this foam core.
That's ridiculous. That is very, very good, man. I really like that.
Thank you. And then the wings I just made out of cereal box. So,
all right.
Hands up, Colin. Did you finish? Are you done?
I'm done. So here it comes. Here I've got two little pieces here. I'll show them over here to the camera first. I got two here with my Nat 1 gravestone, the RIP one. Nat 1 is not in relationship to Nat 1 videos in any way, shape, or form either. It's just a funny Nat. I rolled a Nat 1. And then here's my cross with stone. And let me hold these up here for you guys. But the thing that was able to save me, I wasn't able to get the wash on them, but they're still all right. They're okay. Yeah. Just for a quick 45-minute build. I'll tell you what, though, that mud is clutch for securing things upright in your build there. So we have a couple minutes left here. Let's go back and let's review. Let's review anything. Let's review your build, Michael, and then is there anything that you learned that you want to share with everyone from this quick build?
Can I interrupt really quick? Really quick,
please.
Caden. I always want to bring it back to the chat.
Please.
Caden offered up a materials usage idea. He says maybe get fine Velcro and paint it green for grass.
Oh.
And I'd never thought of that before, and that is potentially a really cool.
Yeah, what a great idea.
Really cool found material. Okay, so thank you, Caden. I think that's awesome.
That's a great idea.
And then now let's go back to Michael because your build is amazing.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's it. I've got a rest in peace. That's it. I don't know.
Now, did you carve that out, Michael?
Oh yeah. So the rather than going in Daniel's direction of using the painting technique, I actually have just dry brushed this, and because I carved the skull and the rest in peace, it basically means that like the dry brushing brings it up nice. There's a real shadow there. So if you see, if I move it around there, the eyes are kind of brighten up, and then if I move it like this,
look at that.
It darkens down.
So cool. That looks great.
It looks like something that should go inside a fish tank.
Or on the tabletop. It looks great. I love it.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right, Daniel, let's see what you got.
Okay, so I did make my a pseudo Doctor Who. Well, I guess maybe I was just thinking about Weeping Angels on my Weeping Angel shirt right there. But yeah, sort of doing some quick rough sculpting on with the foam core and the wings out of the cardboard, and making the object of maybe the hunt through the graveyard. real quick,
Oh,
right?
love it.
Awesome.
It looks
Yeah.
great. It looks
I
great.
can't believe that you managed to do that in
In
45 minutes.
45 minutes. Yeah.
So,
So here's mine. Here's item one. I got the cross in there with the mud. I carved up a little bit of spare foam from XPS and like carved it up to make rocks. I didn't have time to put a wash on it. I would have totally put a wash. Something I'd never done before is in drawing. I'd never used this little fine point pen that's very, very fine if you can see it. It's almost needle-like, and I use that to texture the gravestones or at least write in it. So I'm definitely going to use that before because I was able to get that texture very clear and the writing very clear. So this came out great. I tried to get a little bit of that lighting on there and hitting it from the opposing side for moonlight, but I think I was still a little wet on the paint, and I chose a color to dry brush that was too similar to the pewter. So I definitely could have gone with a lighter color, but overall, like for a 45-minute build, we all each were able to make 3 different pieces of scatter terrain there, guys.
Yeah.
That was amazing. That was a really job well done. Hey. This is the first time and it won't be the last, but everyone finished their build for this week. Look at that. Look at us. I'm excited.
I think that time crunch definitely helps.
That time crunch definitely lays into play. It certainly lays into play. Well, this has been fantastic. We'll have to think about, maybe we'll have to, now I got to go out and buy some Velcro, Caden, play around with that, see if I have any Velcro laying around from old clothing that I'm not using. Maybe take apart a pair of my son's old shoes. But that's a great idea. Well, gents, this has been a blast. Thank you so much for joining me on this week's stream. It's as always a pleasure just to hang out and chill with you guys. But it's even more fun to craft with you guys and pick your brain and talk about all things tabletop. So thank you for joining me this week.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Yep. We'll see you next week. Again, if you want to join us and come on and participate in any of the weekly challenges, share your builds, what you've been working on during the week, share other folks' builds that you've admired, just email me at crazycrafterchannel1983@gmail.com and be more than happy to have you on the show. That's been this week. We will see you guys next week. Cheers. Be